Fixing cars won't get you anywhere. You'll never build wealth getting your hands dirty. I still had grease on my hands and oil stains on my work shirt when my uncle dropped that line like a verdict. The whole table went silent. He spoke about investments, golden retirements, and how to build real wealth. Then he pointed at me, saying that working on cars would never give me a future. What he didn't know was that while he bragged about a 10% annual return, I was already building my own empire, with the same dirty hands he despised. It was Thanksgiving. My Uncle Richard was, as always, the center of the table. He worked in financial planning and never missed the chance to give a lecture about the power of compound interest. That day, while carving the turkey, he looked at me with condescension. "Ethan, you're too smart to waste your life in a mechanic's shop. Grease under your nails doesn't pay for retirement." Everyone laughed uncomfortably. I didn't. I'd been working at Miller Auto since I was 18. My uncle only saw my stained overalls and assumed I was doomed to poverty. What he couldn't see was my other life, buying wrecked cars, fixing them at night, and reselling them. It all started with a 2001 Honda I bought cheap because it needed a new engine. I fixed it, sold it, reinvested. One car turned into 2, then 4. 3 years later, it was no longer a hobby, it was a business. I bought at insurance auctions, rebuilt, sold to dealerships. Some months I cleared an extra $15,000 on top of my mechanic's salary, but I kept living in the same modest apartment, driving my old truck, never showing off. While Richard waved his account statements like trophies, I thought about the deal I had just closed. A struggling dealership wanted to sell its service department. Real value, $380,000. Fire sale price, $290,000. I had been saving for years for exactly this kind of opportunity. I closed the purchase in cash and immediately leased it back to the dealership for $4,200 a month. In just 6 weeks, I had recovered my initial investment and opened a new stream of passive income. A couple of weeks later, Richard called me. "Ethan, I heard something strange. Is it true you bought Morrison Motors building?" "Yes, I bought it last month." Silence. How the hell does a mechanic pay for a $300,000 building? It wasn't the shop. It was the car business I've been running for 3 years. Just last month, I cleared $18,000 in profit. On the other end, absolute silence. "Still there, Richard?" 18,000 inches 1 month. With used cars? Exactly. And now I have $50,000 a year guaranteed in rent, not counting car sales. He had no answer. The next family gathering was different. Richard no longer gave speeches. He asked questions. "How do you choose which cars to buy? Do you need investors to scale?" I answered calmly. "I'd rather stay debt-free. I've got cash for my next projects." My cousin raised an eyebrow. "How much cash are we talking about?" I pulled out my phone, opened my business account, and laid it on the table. $240,000 in liquid cash, plus the building as an asset. Richard froze. "Ethan, you have more cash on hand than the total value of my retirement portfolio." I looked at him and smiled. "Different paths. You build wealth through markets. I build mine through deals and real estate." There was a long silence. Finally, Richard lowered his voice. "I think I underestimated your path." And there, at that same table where my dirty hands were once the punchline, I understood something clearly. Those very hands had built the kind of wealth he always preached about, only through a road he never dared to take.